visit, and we were like, all right, cool. Flying was kind of expensive, so we just got the brilliant idea to road trip from Wisconsin to California. And while out there, I remember stepping out of the van, and I looked around, and I was like, this is where I want to be. It felt different. The air felt different. The vibe felt different, and opportunity felt different. So I told my friends, like everybody on the way back, it was 5 of us, and I told them, I said, y'all, I'm moving out here. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna save up a little bit of money, but I'm moving out here. And this is just the ambitious side of me, but this is also the loner in me. Like, I'm willing to do this by myself, and um, went back home, and everybody was like, they wanted to move too. And then the only person who really rode with me was my friend Robert Easterling. And he was like, bruh, I ain't got nothing holding me back. Let's do this. So April 2013. Yeah, April 2013. Next month will be 3 years since I moved to California. But we packed up everything we had in our cars. We both had Chevy Impalas. I just had an older 2003 Chevy Impala, and didn't know that it was gonna make it 170,000 miles on that joint before I made the trip. And we just drove 32 hours to a place unknown. And once we got here, it was a rush. We were excited, and we only had a little bit of money saved up for rent, because we found the place online. It looked good online, but no. Anyways, we had a little bit of money saved up for rent, and we knew one person in the entire state, truthfully, that we could talk to and confide in, and two people really, but one person that was willing to help us in the area. Everybody else was in like LA, and we were like an hour and a half or something like that, 70 miles from LA, and we didn't have anything. Like, I can literally put up pictures of us sleeping in the living room, because we lived, if you know anything about San Bernardino, California, yes, the same San Bernardino that was in the news last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year, or not too long ago, a few months ago, for the shooting. Same San Bernardino, and we lived on Date Street, which is possibly the worst area that you can live in one of the worst cities in America. So with that being said, life was rough as hell. Never been through the things that I've been through when I was out here. And first and foremost, people used to say, wow, I can't believe you guys just up and move like that. And it's a fearful thing. It's like a total uncertainty in knowing or not knowing whether you're going to survive or not. And for me, my Target job transferred me, but they gave me, I went from an in-stocks job in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where I worked 38, 40 hours a week, and Razor Sharp paid me I had about 20 hours a week. So I was getting, paid enough money to pay my bills back home, my car note and everything, and then still do, things that I wanted to do. And I went from those 40 hours to 12 hours as a retail, like, stocking and I forgot it was just said like sales associate, and I was like doing cashier and stuff like that. And I was like, dog, I have a degree in communication and business education with a minor in physical education, and I'm working 12 hours as a cashier. And I had to end up like going back to old skills, like moving. I did moving when I was in college, and just to like get money to pay rent. And like we were looking, and it was in May. It was a month and a half went by, and we were like, this is like, we're tapped out. We literally, I mean, I can't speak on his situation because I don't know what his money situation was, but I know me, I only brought enough money for April rent and a little bit of groceries, and it was my first time having to apply for assistance. So I ended up getting approved for food stamps, and had it not been for food stamps, I would not have had money to pay for food. Like, I would have starved. And because every dollar and penny I had was going to some bill, and that's when I knew it was real. And we were living in an apartment that was roach infested. So we never unpacked for the month and a half that we lived at this facility. We never unpacked. Like, our stuff was just in boxes and things like that in our rooms. But we literally had 2 blow up mattresses in the living room, in between this table that was given to us, with our TV on top of a like a little small movie stand. And our heat, I'm sorry, not the heat, but the air conditioner didn't work, and it's the summertime in the desert of California, 115 degrees in our house most nights. We laid up just talking. It's like, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. And we started. We was like, nah, our dream was to move to California and open up a gym and work as personal trainers. But like right now, that's not gonna happen. Like, we got to get jobs. And as bad as it pained us, we were like, you know what? We're just gonna start applying for temp services and different jobs like that. And me, I was like, man, I was still working my job at Target, picking up any extra shift that I could get. And for me, I was like, let me just see, because Target's a pretty big corporation. So let me see if they're gonna hire within. Let me see if I can move up within the company. And one, I used to be late to work a lot because I didn't know California traffic was this real. And at the time, the 215 highway, 215 to the 91, they were doing a massive amount of construction on it. And if you know anything about these California highways, the 215 out here at a certain particular time, it's still construction right now. It's 3 years later. But at a particular time, you can get stuck at this one spot for a very, very long time. You know, you're getting merging traffic from the 60 and the 10 and all of these different, like, you're getting all this merging at one time. So, and then you're having reduced lanes. So, all that aside, I was late to work a couple of times, you know, figuring out traffic. And they held that against me as not giving me a higher position. I interviewed for maybe like 9 different interviews for 3 different positions, because there's 3 levels of interviews you have to go through with most Target jobs. And each time I got to the final interview, and the lady was like, I'm surprised and I'm shocked at how articulate you are. You're, on paper you're really good for this position, but I don't think that you quite meet what we're looking for. And at the end of the day, I mean, what it really boiled down to them telling me was that I didn't fit the mold of what they wanted management material to look like. Because I know, if you know anything about Target, we wear t-shirts. And at that time, I had just started lifting weights and I have tattoos. So obviously, if I'm in a V-neck t-shirt, you see I got tattoos, on my neck from my fraternity, and I got tattoos on my arm and stuff. Like, obviously I probably don't look like management material, but when I talk to you and I speak to you and work, it's a completely different nature. But they didn't really care about that. So I interviewed for a team lead position, interviewed for a supervisor position, and asset protection. Couldn't get not one. Made it to the final interview, and this is like, we want to give it to somebody else. And at that time, I was like, you know what? Like, it's time to go back home. Because I can't survive off 12, 15 hours a week. There's no thriving in that. And my roommate was just like, let's just, go to the library, print out these resumes, and let's just get regular jobs. We both have degrees. Why not? So I went, didn't want to go at all. But I was like, I kind of sucked my pride up a little bit, and I went. And I had him print out our resume. We had a little bit of trouble with the printer, so we stayed there a little bit longer than we actually would have liked. And upon us walking out, this guy was walking in with a health coach shirt on, and I had really just started Instagram like a few months before that, and I was heavy into the thirst trapping, and my friends used to make fun of me because I got like 1,000 followers in like a few like a very short amount of time, and they were like, "Oh, he's already over it." It was a big deal back in 2013. Now 1,000 followers. So for me, it was a lot of thirst trapping because I have a great set of genetics, and when I started working out, my genetics really started to show. I was lean by nature. I wasn't I was really small. I was real skinny, but I was like cut up. So people like to see that. So I got a decent following on social media before I moving to California. So a lot of people have been approaching me. Multi-level marketing was really kicking off in 2012, 2013. So at that time, I had been approached about doing different companies, Body by Vi, Herbalife. What's the other companies? Other companies as well. A lot of other companies I was approached about working with. And online, it's just not the greatest place to do it because it seems like everybody's trying to sell you something. So with that being said, as I was leaving the library, a guy walked in with a health coach tank top on, and I wanted to walk past him because I was like, I already know this guy is going to stop us and try to talk to us about Herbalife. I think that's what this health coach stuff is about, man. And I told my roommate that as we were walking up to the guy, we planned on walking past him. And he stopped us and he just asked us, like, verbatim, what sport do y'all play? I said, I used to play basketball. And my roommate said, I used to play football. And he was like,